Hello, thank you for being in a new video. This time I have an unboxing of the Infinix Note30 VIP. Let's get started. This device has just announced its arrival in Mexico. Its price is 9,099 Mexican pesos. On the screen you can see the reference price in dollars. Just to give you an idea, but remember that prices here are not the same as over there. Its three official distributors in Mexico are Liverpool, Sears, and Suburbia. Before I take out the contents of the box, let me take a look at it because it comes with a curious design. It has an interesting design with a different reflection of the light. It is a much taller box compared to the traditional dimensions of smartphone boxes. From the box they highlight us the speed of its 68 watts charging, and they also highlight us the incorporation of 50 watts wireless charging, which is a very difficult feature to find in devices of this price. It's time to take it out of the box. Before I take this packaging off, let me tell you about the features that the manufacturer highlights here, such as the incorporation of sound by JBL. So in theory it should be very good quality. It also incorporates the NFC chip, which that's something that's already much more common in devices of this price point. The charging we had already mentioned, and the processor is the MediaTek Dimensity 8050, a processor with 5G that will surely offer us a very high performance. Finally, we have an AMOLED screen, 120 Hz in its refresh rate and also 10 bits, so it is able to show you lots and lots of colors. And it also has an in-display fingerprint reader, and last but not least, we have the addition of up to 21 GB of extended RAM, referring to 12 GB of RAM, plus 9 virtual gigabytes and 256 GB of storage. The truth is that in specs it looks like an overly attractive device. I am now going to retire this packaging. I already have the device without its packaging, although it was a little stained by the sticker, but for the video review I will clean it. The design is considerably good. The camera module I feel is a bit too big, as it is not a device that incorporates a very robust photographic system, so I think the size of the camera module is a bit exaggerated. Let me turn this device on and see what else comes in the box. To begin with, we find the tool to remove the tray that comes in this bag. We have user manual, which as you realize is like one sheet and already. And finally, here's warranty stuff and these details. Let's see what else is coming. It's very interesting that Infinix includes this mica, it's tempered glass apparently, and it's something that no other manufacturer usually includes. So it's very good because you don't need to buy so many accessories. You protect it well with its glass, plus it comes with a plastic glass already attached. And in this envelope you will also find the necessary tools to be able to place the best possible this mica. So we find good details in the box. As you can see, there is also a mica included, but it is totally rigid, also totally transparent. Let's place it so you can see more or less how it can change the aesthetics of the device. Personally, I would prefer to use it without a screen, but it is up to you if you want to give priority to the protection that your device will have, or you want to give greater priority and emphasis to the aesthetics that it can have. Finally, we include 68-watt charger with its cable that you know comes with this highlighted in orange to make sure it is the cable with sufficient caliber. If you use a simpler cable, it will not charge as fast, so it is very important that you use the original accessories. As a curious fact, I find it very interesting that this whole area is wasted. It seems that the tall box is simply to attract attention because no other accessories come here. Now let me put everything away and let's go back to the cell phone. I already have in my hands the device configured, and now let's take a quick tour of its specifications. It has a weight of 190 grams and a thickness of 8.21 millimeters. And something remarkable is that it also has IP53 certification, which does not mean that the device can be submerged, but at least it gives us some level of security against some splashes, or you can use it without any fear under the rain. The screen is AMOLED with 120 Hz and its resolution is Full HD+. As you can notice, these are considerably good specs for a display. The brightness is perhaps not that high, but it is appreciated to have this kind of technology with good color and good contrast present in a device of this price. In addition, also the combination of AMOLED with 120 Hz gives you a very good experience when moving content here. Possibly also games are going to move smoothly, although we will check that in the review. For now, another thing I want to point out to you is the addition of stereo speakers by JBL. This is a feature that is not very common in devices in this range. The front camera is 32 megapixels with a 2.45 aperture, and something very curious is that Infinix it includes for you here dual front flash. It is a very uncommon feature to see in devices. In fact, personally, I do not consider it so useful, but I highlight it because virtually no device today includes front flash. On the back we'll have 108 megapixel main camera with f1.75 aperture. Those are the most advanced specs of the entire photographic system, so it should perform very well at night. However, the rest of the cameras are simpler, just macro and 2 megapixel depths with f2.4 aperture each. I call them marketing cameras or useless cameras because they don't really add much to the experience. That's why I told you at the beginning that I consider this camera module to be exaggeratedly large compared to what it offers us in reality. However, note that it can record video in 4K, and that will also be a positive point. Let's review the camera experience in first impressions. The preview doesn't look optimized, but then notice that it processes very well. This whole area that was burned out now does show the content. It doesn't look like a spectacular capture to me. I'll give you more details in the review. For now, they just look like acceptable selfies to me, but it could turn out to be one of its weaknesses with first impressions. This is a 108 megapixel photograph for us to try to see this level of detail. I must say that the device feels a little slow at the time of loading all this level of detail, because the first time you get close it looks very blurry, and a few seconds later it is clarifying all this definition. It seems that it does get to take good advantage of this 108 megapixel resolution. Here I took another capture. Let's wait for this level of detail to load well. Although here there was more movement and it looks like it didn't capture very well. Here I did a quick zoom test so you can see how this maximum zoom doesn't seem to take 100% advantage of the sensor. I think through the camera you can't tell, but in reality you see a picture with less detail than you would expect. On the contrary, this is a 108 megapixel photo, and if you zoom in digitally, you're going to notice that it's a much better detailed photo. So if you want to zoom in, I think the best thing to do is to use the 108 megapixel mode and crop it, because that way you're going to have a much higher level of detail compared to the detail that we got from digitally zooming in before we captured it. We're going to do this, and I'm going to save. I definitely think we have a little bit more detail. Now this is another picture I took from the main camera so you can see as close as you can get to an object, and it seems that with these the results are considerably good. Good color and good detail. We can apply digital zoom 2x's before taking the picture and it comes out an excellent result from my point of view, and this is the result that the macro camera gives us. Honestly, compared to other macro cameras it is not so bad. But I still think it is a better result what we have with the main camera for the perspective that it gives you. But if you want to capture some textures, possibly the macro camera is a little more useful, I insist, compared to other macro cameras that are lousy. And finally, here's a portrait shot that is supposed to be taking advantage of the depth camera, and boy, does it have a good result. It kept the foreground in focus well and the background well out of focus. Although other devices simply use dual pixel technology and the like for these kinds of results without the need for a depth camera. So I don't find the addition of this camera relevant, but all in all, the portrait photo results are positive. Something positive also of this device is that it does support networks, also has NFC to make mobile payments. Its battery is 5000 milliamps. I already mentioned the fact that it has fast charging and fast wireless charging. It comes with Android 13 and on it running the customization layer of this manufacturer, which is called XOS. Another very remarkable point is that it comes with 256 gigabytes of storage, so we have very good capacity to store here endless applications, games, photos and videos, and you can even put a micro SD of up to 2 terabytes. It has 12 gigabytes of physical RAM, and they also add another 6 virtual ones, although I would recommend disabling this option. I consider it completely unnecessary, since having 12 physical gigabytes, I see no reason to add another 6 virtual ones that will only wear out your storage. Finally, the processor is the MediaTek Dimensity 8050, and we are going to run a benchmark test just to get an idea of how powerful this processor can be, but the actual performance we will see later in the video review. Here is the result: 1,102 points in single core and 3,357 in multi-core. These are considerably good numbers, especially at this price. I think it is a pretty powerful processor, although we will have to test it in games, video editing and opening applications in the video review. For now, it has left me a very good feeling. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can indicate it, and we'll see you next time.